Hi friends, as always I'm super excited to see you here. If you're meeting for the first time, I'm Uma Shankar Pandey and this is the Dr. USP channel. To stay updated with the latest on this channel, I urge you to consider subscribing to the channel. There is a difference between the concept of domination, which is more about coercion, and the concept of hegemony, which is more about consent. Let's find out the concept of hegemony in today's video. The concept of hegemony was first introduced by Italian theorist Antonio Gramsci. It talks about how the ruling elite makes the subordinate classes believe in their ideology.
Hegemony is generally described as the dominance of one social group or class in a society. This control can be exercised subtly rather than forcefully. Italian thinker, activist, and political leader Antonio Gramsci is the theorist most closely associated with the concept of hegemony. According to him, hegemony refers to a historical process in which a dominant group exercises moral and intellectual leadership throughout society by winning the voluntary consent of popular masses. Whereas domination rests on the dominant group's coercion of the less powerful, hegemony relies on a dominant group's ability to procure subordinate groups' consent to the existing order. So there is a massive difference between domination and hegemony. According to Gramsci, domination belongs to the state, which he calls the political society, as the state is equipped with instruments of coercion, such as the police forces and armed forces. Hegemony, on the other hand, takes place in the realm of the private institutions, and this includes those outside the spheres of economic production and the state. So these includes families, churches, trade unions, and even the media. And Gramsci calls them the civil society. Consent is constructed when a dominant group's particular worldview is accepted by the subordinate groups as their worldview. Dominant groups' interests appear to be the interests of the society at large. As a result, the dominant group is seen as entitled to its ethical and intellectual leadership. For Gramsci, hegemony was a form of control exercised primarily through a society's superstructure, as opposed to its base or social relations of production of a predominantly economic character in classical Marxist theory. In the concept of hegemony, culture takes on an important formative role. Gramsci reformulated the relationship between the base and the superstructure as dialectical interactions rather than a one-way causal determination of economic forces determining the cultural forces, and emphasized cultural struggles. Hegemony is also different from the Marxist notion of false consciousness, which basically is people's inability to recognize inequality, oppression, and exploitation. If one were to accept the idea of false consciousness as the basis of hegemonic consent, it will then be the outcome of sheer manipulation. Messages supportive of the status quo go out from schools, from businesses, from political organizations, from trade unions, from religious groups, the military, and the mass media, and all these resonate ideologically. This mutually reinforcing process of ideological influence is the essence of hegemony. According to Gramsci's theory of ideological hegemony, mass media are tools that ruling elites use to perpetuate their power, wealth, and status by popularizing their own philosophy, culture, and morality. Mass media subtly influence their audiences to perceive social roles and routine personal activities. Television commercials, for example, encourage audiences to think of themselves as markets rather than as public, as consumers rather than citizens. Through the process of framing, the news media tend to implicitly define dissident social actors, for example, as illegitimate, and to deflect, absorb, and domesticate oppositional or conflicting ideas in ways that reinforce the hegemony. This research was done by Todd Gitlin. The textual analysis method is a very important method to demonstrate hegemony. It has been applied to film and television content, and it has significantly contributed to the understanding of ways in which dominant meanings are encoded in cultural products, so that readers take the established social order for granted. Common sense is a strategically important terrain of ideological struggles. Since popular masses make sense of world and themselves through common sense, various groups and classes compete over moral and intellectual leadership in this terrain of common sense. Hegemony is not a complete state or system, but a historical process which needs continually to be renewed, recreated, defended, and is also continually resisted, limited, altered, and challenged by pressures. Gramsci also emphasized the instability of hegemony and proposed the possibility that subordinate and popular groups may form counter-hegemonies. So social change is built in the concept of hegemony itself. Stuart Hall discusses ways in which the audience negotiates the hegemonic positions in the media. So they might be accepting the dominant hegemonic positions, or negotiating it, or even opposing it. So the audience does not always accept the hegemonic construct of the mass media. One element of power is the ability of the power holders to affect and modify the desires and beliefs of the powerless. This is done so that resistance from the powerless cannot easily take place. Gramsci's conception of contradictory consciousness as opposed to false consciousness as the condition of humanity makes it possible to understand that human action does not always result from fully conscious, free choices based on rational calculations. Most research relying on the concept of hegemony is similar in terms of criticizing culture as a source of control and simultaneously envisioning it as a source of resistance.
Thanks for staying along, friends. As always, it was a delight having you here. I'll be back with another video very soon. Till then, have a great time.